The classroom was silent, but not because everyone was listening. It was silent because no one knew how to react. Mr. Landon, the teacher who prided himself on being clever and sharp, had just mocked one of his students, in front of everyone. Her name was Maya. She was 14. Quiet. Brilliant. And black. When she raised her hand to answer a math problem, her voice was soft but confident. She gave her answer clearly, even explaining her reasoning. But instead of encouragement, Mr. Landon laughed. "Maybe next time, Maya," he said with a smirk. "But let's leave the thinking to someone else." The class giggled awkwardly. Not because it was funny, but because they didn't know what else to do. Maya sank a little lower into her chair. Her eyes dropped to her notebook. And the fire that had once lit her curiosity dimmed, just a little. Maya wasn't new to being underestimated. She had spent most of her school life proving she was more than a stereotype. Her mother was a nurse who worked long night shifts, and her father had been an engineer before an injury put him in a wheelchair. They had raised her to believe in her mind. To speak truth. To stand tall. But even in a modern school, old ignorance wore new clothes. Mr. Landon wasn't a monster. Not on paper. But he had a habit, one Maya knew too well, of ignoring certain students and putting others on a pedestal. He praised the loud boys in the front row and dismissed the quiet girls in the back. Especially girls like her. The math problem remained on the board. A complex equation, one Mr. Landon claimed required advanced understanding. No one else had solved it. And after mocking Maya's answer, he wrote a different solution. One that didn't sit right with her. As the day ended and students filed out, Maya lingered. She stared at the board. Something didn't add up. At home that evening, she pulled out her notes and textbooks. Not because she wanted revenge, but because the problem itself fascinated her. She solved it again. Then again. Then once more. Her answer matched the one she had given in class. The one he had laughed at. But when she worked through Mr. Landon's solution, she found a mistake. Not a small one. A fundamental flaw. And with her heartbeat rising, she knew she had to do something. The next morning, Maya didn't walk into class with vengeance. She walked in with confidence. Real, earned confidence. She raised her hand again. This time, her voice didn't shake. "Mr. Landon," she said, "I reworked the problem from yesterday. I think there might be a mistake in your solution." The class turned. Mr. Landon froze. "Excuse me," he asked. She stepped forward. "Your method skips the second variable relationship. That throws off the rest of the solution. I used substitution and got a different result. The same one I shared yesterday." Murmurs rippled across the room. He chuckled nervously. "Well, let's take a look then." She walked up to the board and, in front of 30 students and one stunned teacher, solved the equation step by step. Her voice was steady. Her logic, irrefutable. When she reached the end, the correct answer stared back at them. Silence again. But this time, it wasn't from confusion. It was from awe. Mr. Landon cleared his throat. "Looks like I made an error," he admitted. He tried to laugh it off. "Good catch, Maya. Very thorough." But it wasn't about a laugh anymore. The entire classroom had witnessed something bigger than math. They had seen a young black girl prove that brilliance doesn't ask for permission. That confidence doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it just shows up and writes the truth on the board. Word spread fast. The principal heard about it. Other teachers did too. Maya was invited to join the school's math team. Not because she wanted recognition, but because others finally saw what she had always known: she belonged. She had always belonged. Mr. Landon never mocked her again. He started listening more carefully. He gave slower students more space. Some said he had changed. Maybe not completely, but something in him had been humbled that day. For Maya, that moment wasn't just about solving a math problem. It was about solving a much bigger equation, the one where courage meets injustice, and knowledge wins. She didn't need to scream. She didn't need to fight. She just stood up, solved what others wouldn't, and let her brilliance speak louder than any insult. In a world that often tells young girls, especially girls of color, to sit down and be quiet, Maya showed the world what happens when you don't. She didn't raise her voice. She raised the standard. And that's how real change begins.